Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and entertainment. We'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a show here for you guys that you definitely want to miss. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. What did I say? I heard it when I was asleep that Chris Broussard was rolling with them dudes deep. Nah. Shout out to the Nas song Ether. But anyway, so this weekend I took a break with my family, just kind of step away, just kind of take a break and celebrate my birthday and do some other things, right? But in the midst of that happening, a bit of news broke, and I think it was on Friday. And people started messaging me about this news on Instagram. Again, if you're not following me on Instagram, my handle is CTABANZ. If you're not following the channel's handle is the same as the channel on Instagram, DREAMERSPRO. And they were like, yo, did you see the story? Did you hear what Chris Broussard said? Did you hear what Chris Broussard said? And I'm sitting there like, what did Chris Broussard say? Like, what news did he make now, right? Because we had produced some shows that were centered on a Tom Haberstroh article, a 6,000 word book or whatever it is, dissertation, I don't know, thesis, whatever the hell you want to call it, about Michael Jordan's 1988 Defensive Player of the Year award. So we did a show on that. We did multiple shows on that, kind of refuting some of the points that he brought up. But then apparently what had happened was they invited him on Fox Sports Radio, where Chris Broussard also does work with Rob Parker. And essentially during that audio or that video, Chris Broussard, as he's introducing, Haberstroh, he then says, you know, how much did Rich Paul and these guys, what did Rich Paul and these guys and Klutch Sports promise you for basically going out there and putting out this hit piece on Michael Jordan? But he said it in a joking way. But that's not the part that stood out to me and a lot of people. The part that surprised a lot of us was that Chris Broussard then goes on to say, you know, I'm just playing and I'm joking with them. And by the way, I'm represented by Klutch Sports. And I'm like, damn, what? They got Chris Broussard too? So those are the comments that we want to focus in on today. But before we even get into what Chris Broussard had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks, which is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. PrizePicks is really simple. Instead of just selecting a team, you just select two or more players, pick more or less their projected stats, and then you place your entry. For example, this week, I'm selecting two entries. Stephen Curry for more than 25 points, and then I got Anthony Davis for more than 2 blocks, and Damian Lillard for more than 4 3-pointers made. PrizePicks is also the only daily sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So for example, if you have a player who gets injured in the first half and doesn't return to the second half, that player gets automatically rebooted. What I also love about PrizePicks is that it offers weekly promotions like Taco Tuesdays. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do now is we want to play exactly what Chris Broussard had to say about his affiliation with Klutch Sports, and then we're going to come back and react to the sound of that. Take a listen to Chris Broussard here.
Our next guest writes for Yahoo Sports, and also you can check him out on Substack, TomTheFinder.com. We welcome in Tom Haberstroh. Tom, how are you?
Brew, what's going on, buddy?
We are great. We got Ephraim Salam in for Rob Parker. And, you know, you and I go way back, colleagues back at ESPN. You do fantastic stuff. And we were just talking about your story on how Michael Jordan's defensive stats, steals and blocks, were doctored, if you will, in home games in 1988. First question, what did Rich Paul and Klutch promise you to write that article?
Now we getting to the bottom of it.
Rich is my man. I'm actually represented by Klutch, so Rich is my man. I'm just playing with you. But you know, this is the LeBron is the GOAT camp, is putting your article in frames and putting it on their wall. I'll tell you that.
Well, it is something that I was cognizant of as I was reporting, is that LeBron James has been talking pretty much every year of his career about how he's never won Defensive Player of the Year, and he's really wanted to. And he took issue with Marc Gasol winning Defensive Player of the Year and finishing in the second team all defense. And it's something he's talked about on the shop. And I knew that Michael Jordan's Defensive Player of the Year award, just covering the league for as long as I have, it's one of the most consequential, if not the most consequential, Defensive Player of the Year awards in NBA history, because it sets him apart. It is his crown jewel in a sense, compared to Magic, compared to Kareem, compared to LeBron. They don't have that on their resume.
So you heard what Chris Broussard had to say. A part of me is very disappointed. What I'm disappointed about is not the fact that Chris Broussard is represented by Klutch Sports, because Chris Broussard can be represented by whoever the hell he deems worthy of representing him. That's not the point. What is disappointing is that with every passing day and as the weeks go by, I'm beginning to realize that almost everybody, or a good amount of the big voices in sports media that discuss the NBA, all of them are affiliated with Klutch Sports in some shape, form, or fashion. That is disappointing to me. It is very, very disappointing. And the reason I say it's disappointing, because it looks as if these guys are working together to create a climate out there that constantly props up LeBron James while taking bleeps on other players. LeBron and his camp are like, LeBron is the only guy that you have to, in order for him to be elevated, you have to bring somebody down. That's exactly what that hit piece was by Tom Haberstroh. They couldn't just, praise LeBron. They couldn't do that. In order for him to be praised, they had to now try to taint Jordan's career. And in this case, they were trying to question his Defensive Player of the Year award. Those two things had to go in tandem. So it would taint the way you viewed one particular athlete, and then enhance the way you view another, in this case, LeBron James. And this is a pattern that has been taking place for years in sports media. Here's what's interesting with Chris Broussard saying that, and I don't know Chris Broussard. I think we sent Chris Broussard a message I think we invited him on our show. It was sometime last year. I don't even think he saw the message. I don't know. We messaged him through Instagram on his our Dreamers Pro account. I don't know if he saw it, but anyway, here's what's interesting about Chris Broussard. Even though Chris Broussard is represented by Klutch Sports, Chris has been a person that is known in the sports media space to put forth some of the greatest Michael Jordan GOAT arguments I've ever heard, especially when he pushes back on Nick Wright, because Nick Wright just be up there losing his damn mind. He be up there just twerking it up all over the place, knocking over drinks. Just basically disturbing the peace, pouring honey all over him. Like, it just once Nick gets on a roll, you can't stop him. You just need to get out of his way, because he's going to twerk, right? And Chris has been a voice on that show that's been pushing back on him whenever it comes with the Jordan slander, because I think, and I don't know Chris Broussard, but I think Chris Broussard understands one thing, that even though he likes LeBron, even though he said he's known LeBron for years, even though he has him as the second greatest player of all time, he also knows he can't lie to himself. He also knows he can't lie to himself. So here's what I think about this information. This is how I'm interpreting it. I think Chris Broussard being represented by Klutch Sports means the following. I think that Chris Broussard genuinely likes LeBron James as a basketball player and as a person. I think he thinks LeBron is a pretty good dude. And I know this from his days back on Cold Pizza and First Take, when he was defending him when Skip Bayless used to roast LeBron James. He always would defend him. But I think Chris also knows that, look, for as much as I like LeBron, I think Chris respects Jordan's legacy and his accomplishments more than he likes LeBron. And I think that Chris Broussard has been able to draw the distinction that most people who sit up there and twerk it up all over the internet for LeBron can't. Meaning, these supporters like the Shannon Sharp, the Nick Wrights in the world, they allow the love that they have for LeBron to basically cloud their judgment, and then they just go out there and say crazy things, like LeBron is better than Michael. That's crazy talk. When Shannon Sharp, it's cuckoo talk. It's ludicrous behavior. These are people that saying LeBron is better than Michael Jordan is a fringe opinion. You're in the fringe when you say something like that. So Chris Broussard has still been able to maintain that, but now I understand because there are a lot of times when LeBron has his antics and Chris Broussard doesn't push back there are a lot of times when Nick Wright is up there twerking it up and he doesn't really, throw some water on him to light that fire off, to turn that fire off, because Nick is just gyrating all over the table. And there are times he kind of lets LeBron go. But there are also times where I got to say this, though, to be fair. I've seen him I've seen Chris Broussard say things about LeBron that other NBA fans feel that a Nick Wright and these guys will never say. And I'll give you an example before we close. For instance, when he says, why is it always got to be that LeBron needs some help? He'll say that the knock around, one of the knocks on LeBron is that everywhere he goes is always the coach's fault and he always needs some help. Why does he always need some help? Nick Wright would never point something like that out. Shannon Sharp would never point something like that out. But Chris did. So I got to give him credit there. But those are my thoughts. Just sad, man. Klutch Sports, they just going for everybody. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.